Guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. This is actually going to be a review. I have not done a review in a while, so hopefully I haven't lost any of my mojo. Today we're going to be looking at one from the House of Halston. And this is actually their Amber offering. I also believe this is the first time on my channel that I've ever talked about a Halston fragrance. I'm a pretty big fan of this house. I actually own 4 of their scents, so I own 112, or I12, 112 or I12, which is pretty nice. Z14, which I love, and is a fantastic low-cost alternative to Tom Ford's Italian Cypress. And when I say that, let me say, and I can review it if you want me to, I don't think you lose a lot by purchasing Z14 instead of Italian Cypress, honestly. Ford's is nicer, but they're close. I think Tom Ford, heavy inspiration there. And I own Halston Man, also quite nice, and this guy Halston Amber. There's not a ton else available from this brand for men, but if I saw it and the price was right and it was a Halston fragrance, I think they do fragrances so well, I'd buy it. I'm a pretty big fan. This guy was on my to-buy list for a long time, long before it started appearing out of 1 out of every 2 TJ Maxx's or Marshall's locations, and then it sort of developed a little bit of hype behind it. When I did see it in my local TJ Maxx, I jumped on a bottle right away. What's funny is I was in my TJ Maxx and I was like, it's at every TJ Maxx, whereas this one I expected like a bunch of bottles to be at the front of the store. And by the way, I hope I don't get like copyright infringement for watching the NBA playoffs on my TV, which is reflecting off my hope that doesn't distract you too much, but there's not too much else to look at in my videos. But anyway, I expected there to be like a bunch of bottles. There wasn't. There was one. I had to dig for it. I saw it and I bought it. So super easy. I knew I wanted it. Before I talk about this fragrance, let me give you quickly a little bit of recap on the brand Halston. Halston is an American fashion house that was started by a gentleman named Roy Halston Frowick. And he started his brand officially in the 1970s. His fashion career began making hats and altering his mother and sister's clothing. And in the late 50s, he opened a simple hat shop. Eventually, his hats became really good. He became a great hat maker. He moved to New York. He became the head hat maker for Bergdorf Goodman. His work was proudly worn by a lot of celebrities: Elizabeth Taylor, Bianca Jagger, Lauren Bacall, etc. In the mid-1970s, he entered a license agreement with the Halston brand, which he started for accessories and perfumes, and the first scent he released was called Halston Classic. He then did his first men's scent, the aforementioned 112, in 1976, and continued releasing quite a bit of fragrances, eventually entering another licensing deal with Elizabeth Arden. And that is currently their parent company, who releases Halston's perfume. They have 17 fragrances in their collection. The latest release was released a while ago, guys, 2010, so unfortunately there's been some stagnation within the brand. I would be thrilled to have Halston come out with new fragrances. I think they do fragrances well. That's just my opinion. Halston Amber is actually their latest release. It's a 2010 scent, as we said. Perfumer, not public record. We do have notes for this one, and the notes are at the top: geranium, bergamot, and thyme, French labdanum. I am falling in love with labdanum. Myrrh and amber in the middle, musk, Virginia cedar, and oud in the base. I paid $15 for my 125 ml eau de toilette bottle. You can find this online, the 75 ml or the 125 ml, between 15 and 20 bucks. So super cheap scent. The box, fingerprint. Ooh, Halston Man Amber. Yeah, nothing but noodles. Yeah, like that. So kind of like a feltish thing inside. And the bottle, same. I think other than like Catalyst, this bottle has the same sort of shape. It's awesome. It allows you to get fingers on it really easily. I believe that's the reason it was created. It has that signature indentation right here that Z14 has, that 112 has, and you've got a sprayer that's not great. Kind of trickles a little bit, but it'll do the job. And I think the bottle looks good. As I've gotten older, I sort of find gold bottles to be a little bit gauche. I really love the Creed Millesime Imperial gold bottle, which I think has 18 karat gold plating in it perhaps, but I mean gold bottles are a little sometimes they can be done right, sometimes they look stupid. I think like 1 million looks stupid, but this one, it is what it is. I mean, I like the fact that they paid homage to the Halston men's perfume route, but it's fine. I'm cool with it. It's relatively heavy. Okay, scent wise. So I think this is for the money, this is a fantastic fragrance. It is a great starter amber. Look, it's not an Amber Absolute by Tom Ford. It's not, Raja Dove, right? It's not Amber Extrait. It's not a really dense and rich amber. It's kind of light and airy, but out of the bottle, when you put this on your skin, this is gorgeous. I mean, it punches way over its price level, but I'll tell you, note-wise, I get 0 geranium, 0 bergamot at the top. I almost feel like they're making that up. I mean, to me, this is labdanum, benzoin, and vanilla. I say there's 100% absolutely no real oud in this, but I think I smell a big dose of a material called Alicewood, which is a Firmenich oud base that has that cherry cough syrup vibe that you get from like vintage M7. So basically, this is a good amber accord with Alicewood. And the amber is not animalic, it's not powdery, it's sweet. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but this is a starter amber fragrance, because as you start to spend more money and you want amber fragrances, you get more complex amber scents and amber scents that perform better. Because as wonderful as this is, I have a problem with the fact that it performs so poorly on my skin. I mean, a couple of hours projection, and when I mean a couple of hours, guys, 1 to 2 projection I think is what you're probably going to get out of this, and maybe 5 to 6 longevity. That's being generous. And this is one of those scents, honestly, where you spray it on, it hits your skin, and you're like, oh my god, this is gonna beast. And then it fades and it fizzles out, and it's fucking disappointing, and it does it pretty quickly. Additionally, and I'm okay with this for an amber fragrance, not a ton of development with this one. And with amber scents, that happens, and I'll explain why. An amber scent is usually really going to be centered around benzoin, labdanum, and vanilla. Or vanillin, usually vanillin, right? Not too many houses, I would think, other than indie houses, are going to be using real vanilla. It's very hard to get right now, Vanilla Absolute. It's very expensive, so I say either perfumers are making vanilla bean accords. Again, I'm so sorry for the sirens. I can do nothing about it at this point. It would probably be easier to stop crime in New York City than to figure out a way to block them out of my fucking videos. Anyway, benzoin, labdanum, and vanilla or vanillin are base notes, okay? And those are what amber scents are based around. And if you want an amber scent to smell of amber, those scents need to come to the forefront, and they're going to hold pretty steady. So if you smell it at the top, you're probably going to smell them at the end. And they're strong. Those are 3 pretty dominant notes. So they're going to overshadow top or heart notes, okay? There might be geranium and bergamot in here, but if it's there, it's getting beaten to death by that amber accord. Now, if you like the idea of this, I would buy it. If you don't have a bunch of great amber scents already, you're a little bit on a budget. But if you're looking for something amber-wise, you like the idea of this, and you want to step it up a little bit, hey, the best fragrance you could get Amber Flash by Andy Tower, okay? It's a 30 ml bottle, it's eau de parfum. I think it's $63. You're not going to do better there. This reminds me a little bit of Bentley Absolute by Bentley, and this has a little bit of spice to it that's reminiscent, you have to kind of really get your nose in there, but that's reminiscent to me at least of Gucci Pearl, the original, which is discontinued, so that's not easy to get. But 2 scents that smell like that are available are Potion by D Squared and number 2 Man by Comme des Garçons. So I think all those fragrances are a little bit reminiscent of this, and there's a little bit more meat on the bone with those guys. This is a much lighter and more simple take on those scents. I think if someone were trying to talk you into purchasing this, they'd say, hey, it does smell great, the price is ridiculously low, and a cool bottle. It's a great starter amber scent. I think if someone were trying to get you to skip this, I think they'd say it is a starter amber, and if you're an advanced perfume wearer, unless you're a collector and you got a good amber scent in your collection you really like, why spend the extra dough, the extra shelf space? This just doesn't perform the way it should. There's better bottles out there. I'm gonna give this a 7.5 out of 10. The price is right, but they failed when it came to using fixatives. I'm surprised they couldn't have done a little bit of a better job here. I don't know. We using some sort of ISO Super or Timber Silk or Sylvamber. Maybe they're in there. I don't really smell them, but they can really blend into heavier notes just to make this one last a little bit longer. I think they fucked up the execution on this one. Maybe it was their aim to not have this be a heavy, long-lasting perfume, but I think it really could have been a better perfume by doing so. If you're not a niche snob, or just starting to get into niche, I get this fragrance. Get it for 15-20 bucks. You're gonna really start to understand what an amber fragrance should be, and it's gonna do well for you. I think this will be a great cold weather scent for you. So guys, that's it. That's my take on Halston Amber. I hope this was a good review for you guys. Any questions or comments, I believe you guys know I'm really happy to answer all of them in due time. And that's it. I hope I've done a good review. It's been a while. I'm a little bit rusty. I'm going to get back into the swing of it. Got a lot of things coming in. A lot of bottles still in my collection I haven't talked about, so we'll get to them slowly but surely. Guys, that's it. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great week ahead. Be well. My name obviously is Maximilian. Nowadays, I just lounge and parlay. I'm hip to music, whether jazz or country. I'm the type that make anything sound funky. I like to talk and show and go and flow. Hey yo, so brothers just don't know.